Erik Martensson. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm doing all right. Everything is good. I don't know if that list, such a long list. 2020 was supposed to be the best year ever for
Yeah.
the band. The schedule was packed. It's a beautiful thing when you can get older, and you make better records and more.
I mean, obviously keeping the fans happy. I mean, you're going to be looking at doing another Eclipse album. What's the pressure like, man, to have an album as good as the last one? I mean. Hello and welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews, and it's my honour to introduce lead singer and frontman of Eclipse, member of supergroup W.E.T, member of supergroup Nordic Union, member of supergroup Ammunition, guitarist, songwriter, producer, Erik Martensson. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm doing all right. Everything is good.
Did I miss anything?
Oh, well, I don't know if that list, such a long list, if it's good or bad. I'm positive, so I say it's a good thing.
No, man, I'm honoured to have you here. It's really great. And, you know, I said to you before, I've been a massive fan of Eclipse, especially, well, and W.E.T for years, you know. So it's an honour to have you.
Wonderful. Yeah.
It's really great. So I want to talk to you about your latest release. So you've got a live release out at the moment. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So this only came yesterday for me. So I've watched
Wonderful.
Quite a bit of the concert. I've heard the whole concert on Spotify. I've listened to it on Spotify. Yep. Absolutely brilliant, mate. And I'm not. It's an excellent release. I mean, tell us a bit about it.
Well, yeah, it's one thing listening on Spotify, but I think it should be watched on TV. That's how it's meant to be. But whatever. And it wasn't supposed to be a live DVD or a live concert recording. It was recorded in Sweden. One of the gigs, it was the hometown of the bass player and the drummer. And the bass player, he works with video as well. So he asked a few friends, like, come over and film the gig and have a few beers and, have a good time. Maybe we can use something for like social media or whatever. Just because we were in his hometown and his friends that he films with. Yes, so they went there and they started filming it, and we did also a multi-track recording from the mixing desk, and it was a great concert, and the vibe was great. It was just before Christmas, so it was a nice gig, but we didn't think so much about it. It was like no one thought that this was going to be ever released. So later on, we just started watching and listening to what was recorded, and it was, this is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. You're totally right about the Blu-ray. I mean, I have listened to it on Spotify, but the Blu-ray is brilliant, and the sound quality. I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm not a live release fan. I like studio albums mainly. But
same here.
But the sound quality was so good. I was watching what I watched last night. Brilliant little documentary on there. It was making me laugh. A few things making me laugh on there as well. But that was great. You got talking about Paradigm, most of it.
Yeah.
And it was quite fun hearing about, how you wrote the tracks. Yeah, brilliant release. I recommend anyone. I mean, obviously I've pushed Eclipse as much as I can. When anyone ever says to me, is anyone, especially people, because my channel covers a lot of the 80s stuff and the melodic hard rock, and I always mention Eclipse right at the top, along with other bands, a lot of bands coming out of Sweden. I mean, I don't know what's happening over there, but you seem to be producing you guys over there producing some of the best bands, but I recommend this Blu-ray. It is absolutely phenomenal, and it obviously covers a lot of your across your career, which is, well, speaking to you beforehand, you've been going a while now. you know. So
we're going a while. But if it was supposed to be like the live concert from Eclipse that was released, we probably would have chosen a few more songs from the older albums as well. Because this concert is focused a lot. I think there's like 7, maybe 8 songs from the new record. But this was just one gig during the tour for the Paradigm album. But after COVID and all this virus madness, it's like it felt like this was a good closure of we just started touring during the fall, and then it's just abruptly ended. And so this was like it felt like a good thing to maybe not close the Paradigm.
I mean, how difficult. Obviously, the tour was cut short. I saw that you had some, unless it was wrong, I saw you had some dates booked in 2021, or are they being cancelled as well?
2020 was supposed to be the best year ever for the band. The schedule was packed. We were going a lot of places. And everything has been cancelled so far. And let's see what happens. At the moment, it's just relax and lean back and don't get. In the beginning, we were up. Everyone was upset, and then after a while, everyone just given up. And especially now during the fall, it's just everything started all over again, even worse almost. So it's like we all given up. We just sitting at home.
I was reading earlier on. I didn't know how you was affected in Sweden, but I was reading earlier on that obviously it looked as though the government was trying to get away with relaxing it a bit, but they're going to shut a lot of things down now, aren't they? They're changing. There's been quite a few deaths and stuff, so they're changing a few rules out there now.
Yeah, they are, but we haven't had any hard lockdowns. But even during the spring and when everything went down the first time, it's people really tried to stay at home. So it wasn't like business as usual here at all. It was still very.
Well, you've been trying to do some things. You did the Viva la Quarantine, which was cool. So, I mean, I mean, you got anything else like that lined up, like coming up during this time?
It feels like everyone's been doing this. As in the beginning, everyone with a phone and a Facebook account and an acoustic guitar were singing in Facebook. And after a while, I got so fed up with it, I couldn't stand watching. I wouldn't even touch my own acoustic guitar after a while. So when we did this in the beginning, it was like, let's do this for real, and let's hope let's do with the full band at least, and try to make it sound decent. And we did it, and it's a lot of work, of course, and there's a lot of personnel. You need camera crew and everything, and it seems like everyone is doing it now. So there's like, what's the point? Let's just wait until the whole thing goes over, and we can. You want to be in the crowd, with a beer in your hand and screaming along to the song. That's what it's all about. And I don't know.
So if
it goes on for a couple of years, maybe.
Oh, maybe, hopefully not, mate. But you've included that on the Blu-ray, I know, haven't you? Have I got that on the Blu-ray, the Quarantine as well?
It's on the Blu-ray as well, yeah.
Oh, cool. See, there's about 3 hours worth of like stuff on there, I believe. About
it's packed. Yeah,
that's mad. So that's brilliant. It's well worth a buy. So, it's quick. I'm going to go back to Eclipse later, but let's talk about your new W.E.T song. So obviously, I heard it for the first time the other day. I reacted to it. I tried to avoid it for a couple of days until I had time to react to it on the channel. And man, it's one of the best W.E.T songs you've done. Honestly, it's so catchy. I can't believe the chorus is just unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I agree with you. I think it's one of the catcher ones.
Oh
It's fun.
yeah.
When I wrote it immediately, like this, this is a good song. I liked it from the beginning. I
Yeah.
wrote it. It's lyrics and music myself, so it's like it's well done in a day. The whole thing.
Oh
It was
man.
like, yeah, this is good. Sometimes you can sit down for weeks and not come up with a great song, and then just like that, it's like, oh, that's a good song.
Yeah, I mean, you've got obviously you've got the date as the January the 22nd. It's being released, so I take it it's all finished. It's all ready to go. It's just
Yeah, it's all done.
So, what's your you look, man? I love you trading vocals with Jeff Scott Soto. Is there more than one song happening? Can you tell us a bit about it on the album?
No, it's just it's just that one. But I'm doing all the backing vocals, and I do all the rhythm guitars and some guitar solos and keyboards. Like there's enough of me on that record.
Is it relaxing, man? Like just having to play guitar sometimes and not have to sing it as well?
Yeah, especially live. I really enjoy that because when you're the lead singer, you always have to be the one in good shape, standing in front, cheering the crowd. You know, having a if the guitar player has a bad day, he can just be grumpy and stand in the corner. And if the lead singer is good, it's still going to be a good concert. But if the lead singer is grumpy or having a bad day, then the concert is going to be terrible. So it's sometimes, especially live, and you can just take a step back and pretend you're Malcolm Young.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man. What do you think of the new album, AC/DC album? You must have heard it.
No, I haven't heard it. And the reason why is I wanted to listen to it on my vinyl, which I ordered a long time before it was released. And I have this, 70 stereo in my house, in my basement, where I can really, it's a really good sounding 70s system. And I really wanted to sit down with the vinyl and listen to it properly. And I still haven't received the vinyl. And now then I ordered from another place. And they sent another mail that they are out of stock. They can't send it. So now I ordered a third time. So hopefully. And I ordered a box like 1.5 months before release from America. It's still in the customs in America. So I wait listening to that record until I have it on vinyl. I think it's coming tomorrow, though.
Oh, good. I mean, I was impressed, man. I mean, I left ACD for quite a long time. I was into them in the Bon Scott era. Then I left them for quite a while after. Yep. I think For Those About to Rock, I went off them a little bit, and then I went back to them with this album, probably mainly because I'm doing the channel and listened to it, and I was quite impressed. Just I thought it was great. Yeah. So
I love the single, the Shot in the Dark.
Yeah. There's some better songs than that as well, in my opinion, obviously. But so let's just get the W.E.T release. Let's get back on track. January the 22nd, Retransmission. That's what it's called. And I'm just going to play a little snippet from the video, Big Boys Don't Cry. All right, mate?
Yeah. Wonderful.
Let's get back on track. So, all right, mate. I want to talk about some collaborations that you've had. So, obviously, the label you're on, Frontiers. Now, they're a great label, producing some brilliant bands, and you've been on lots of collaborations with guys. You've been with Ronnie Atkins, Pretty Mates, with Nordic Union. Love them albums, by the way. They are superb.
Yeah, I like them too.
Yeah, obviously the W.E.T stuff. You did the Ammunition as well.
Yeah,
that was great.
2 albums. Yeah.
So, have you got anyone you really want to have a look at doing something next when this is all over or whatever? Have you got anyone in mind that you'd love to work with, either on Frontiers or someone else, you know? Not someone not out of reach maybe, or someone you really want to work with for a while?
You know, I could name so many people I would love to work with, but at the moment there are no plans for any, you know, maybe we've been discussing maybe do something with Nordic Union again. Ron is a nice guy. He's having you know, serious health issues at the minute with cancer. So I'll talk to him today, and at the moment everything is fine. So let's fingers crossed he'll stay healthy. And what else? Well, I think I need to focus on Eclipse writing new material for Eclipse, because it feels like it just yesterday we released a record, but you know, writing a record, recording it and mixing everything, and then wait for promotion and all the timelines, it's just, you have to be a long time ahead.
And of course, man, you're a producer as well. I mean, I bang on about the good production all the time. Like whenever, that's the first thing I'm listening to when I listen to new music. Producing, the production of an album for me is so important. And
it is important.
You know, I take a dig sometimes at certain bands. I don't know why, that there's this new, you'll get it anyway. There seems to be this new modern production that's going around at the moment. It's like a compressed, really like strange sort of, you know, at first it'll sound good, but then it doesn't, and the drums ain't loud enough. And I don't know, I'm having problems with a lot of production lately. I don't know what you think of some bands, but they all seem to be falling in this trap of this compressed production. But you've got some great production on your albums. You can hear everything. It's all like the clarity of the instruments, and the guitars right up there in the mix, and the drums are, I know it can't be easy, but
no, it's tight parking. You know, when it's like you come into a parking place and it's two cars have, you know, all the cars are very tightly parked. It's like you need to fit everything. It's like a puzzle. And it's hard mixing records. It's hard producing records to make them. It's okay. It's not as hard to make them sound good, but make them sound great is really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, because obviously, I mean, I was in a band when I was younger and I had hair. You know what I mean? I was years ago. But I mean, when you're in the studio, I suppose you can spend hours and hours in there and it sounds good maybe. And then when it actually is committed to CD or something, maybe it's not what you heard in the studio. I don't know. But there seems to be a lot of bands these days struggling with good production. I don't know why. A
lot of people are doing it themselves. Well, that's how I started. But, you know, my productions haven't sounded, you know, okay from the beginning. They sounded okay, decent, but you know, as everything else, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a carpenter or a bus driver. You get better at it the more you do it. And same thing with music. And well, I've been doing quite a few records now, and some sound great, some doesn't sound great, but you know, I always do my best.
Well, it sounds
great.
I think
the Wet one sounds fine.
Yeah. I mean, what I heard of, I've only heard the single, but that sounded great as well. So, and well, let's talk about songwriting as well, because I mean, apart from doing all your stuff with the bands, you're songwriting for other people as well. You've done some stuff for Toby Hitchcock.
Yeah, sure. And Jimmy Jameson, I did a full record with him.
The late Jimmy Jameson. I mean, there's a lot of people who watch my channel who are Survivor fans, you know, especially Jimmy Jameson, are massive Survivor fans. And, you know, it's probably something that not a lot of people know. You co-wrote the whole of his solo album, didn't you? The last one before he passed, Never Too Late, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. I wrote every song on that one with help from some friends, of course.
Man, that's great. So, I mean, you know,
that was an honor doing that record. It was like unbelievable to do a record with Jimmy Jameson. That was amazing.
Yeah. I know. You know, to tell you the truth, I knew you was a songwriter, and I was looking into some stuff a few weeks ago and found out you did that album, and you can hear you on it, but giving that, you know, your songwriting, but obviously giving that Survivor type sound to it as well. It's great. Absolutely.
It was like the whole thing was when I got asked to do it, it was like, I want to do the record. I want to hear him sing. It's like, I wrote it as a fan. This is what I want to hear him sing. Almost. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's the mindset for that record. That record.
No, that's great, man. I mean, I was listening to the main song on it the other day. He's actually Never Too Late, isn't it? Is it Never Too Late?
Yeah.
Great song, really Survivor, little bits in there, absolutely outstanding. So
yeah, it's funny. The label actually almost rejected that song, said it's not so good, and then it ended up being the title track and the first single. I was like, "Are you nuts? It's great."
What it takes to make everything come true. The world isn't there for you. Just carry on. You get what you give. One day it will come back and fall into your lap. It's nothing new. Too late, never too late to start. So just keep on dreaming. Never too late to start. Love will find its way. It will find you.
Listen, I'm mentioning Eclipse all the time as one of my top bands. They are in that genre of melodic hard rock, if you like. I suppose I don't like genres, but you've got to give something. Melodic hard rock is about probably what I'd say. But out of Sweden, especially at the moment, there's some great artists, including yourselves, Heat. You played with Heat, I think. Crazy Licks, Crash Diet, Perfect Plan. I mean, a lot of bands that people don't know about, probably especially in America, that, you know, I've got a lot of Americans watch the channel, and I always say about you guys and all the best music's coming out of Sweden. I mean, what's happening over there, man? I mean, why do you think there's so much great music coming out of there at the moment?
Well, I've been asked this question many times, and it's like, well, I don't have an answer to that, but I think it's good bands inspire other good bands. It's like, if you see an American band, if you see a band from LA, you know, they might as well be from Jupiter or Mars. It's like, it's so far away. It's another world, and they are movie stars almost like. But when you see bands in your own town that are selling records, they are touring and they're sounding great, then it means that they're same guy. They're just ordinary guys like myself. If they can do it, maybe I can do it. I think that's as simple as that. And, you know, good quality, then bands, if a competitive band, another band in the same genre makes great music, you don't want to make worse music. You want to do better almost. So like, it's a healthy competition.
I mean, there's a lot of people miss, you know, I'm not saying all those bands I mentioned, including Eclipse, are 80s through and through, but you've definitely got a massive connection to the 80s, and there's so many people that have missed those times but won't give new bands a chance, and they just know the 80s, it's the 80s, and I just think they're really missing out. If they heard any of the music that I've mentioned, you know what I mean, they're missing out so much. Fans are, they really are.
Sure, there's so many good bands, and, you know, as soon as you start having choruses and melodies, you know, everyone says 80s. It doesn't matter if it would be, you know, if you have a death metal track and you sang a melody over it, everyone like, oh, it sounds 80s.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right there.
Everyone they just grab that word for everything, and it's like, well, that's fine. It gives it a no, it labels it in a nice way, and the 80s are great. There were so many good bands and great songs during the 70s and 80s.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I'd pick 80s rock over 90s rock any day.
Oh, me too. I mean, I'm actually, I want to ask you about this actually. I'm worried myself of the state of the music industry, especially the genre we're talking about, heavy rock and metal. I mean, you've still got, in festivals in England and across the world, they're calling on bands like, Iron Maiden, AC/DC to headline these festivals, And I get worried. I'm thinking, these guys are not going to be going forever. And who is there at the moment who can headline a festival apart from Iron Maiden, Kiss, Def Leppard? They bring Def Leppard in, to headline these festivals. That just shows you the state of, and bands like yourself who have got that really big sound, like you should be bigger. But where's it going to come from? Where is those headliners going to come from? It's a bit of a worry,
Yeah, I think those days are over. I think those days when bands got so big as, the classic rock bands, they won't come back. And also, that was new and fresh when it came out. And they had, it was new in the whole genre when everything started up. And there was... They've been filling up all these festivals and all the other bands from the 80s that weren't Iron Maiden or Def Leppard, all the other bands that were not so big but still big, they still filled up all the the slots for the festivals, and which kind of there was almost it's been really hard to get gigs at all in this, especially in this genre. So but
I mean, you have your own
maybe festivals festivals get smaller. But festivals will get maybe not as big anymore as they used to be, because the common guy who only knows Def Leppard won't come to the festival because that's why the reason he came to the festival. But the hardcore fans, the real musical fans will still go to festivals. Maybe they will be smaller, but as a band, it really doesn't matter to me because.
No, I mean, it does worry me a bit, but I mean, as long as there's always good music. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing for me. I think it's stronger than ever, sort of underground a little bit, but I think heavy rock and metal now is it's quite strong, but it's never going to get, like you said, huge again.
It's really strong. No, you're right, and but I think the rock scene is really good at the moment. There's so many good bands. It's like more great bands now than it was back then. It's like so many good bands, but they are not you don't hear them on the radio or see them on MTV doesn't exist anymore. But it's, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, man. Let's get back to Eclipse. So you did an excellent cover of Lisa. Let me pronounce this right. Miskovsky's Driving One of Your Cars.
Miskovsky, yeah.
Oh man, I loved. I mean, it just suited Eclipse down to the ground. I actually heard the original the other day, and it's amazing how that isn't. If I didn't know I wouldn't have known that was a cover. That sounds like an Eclipse song through and through. It's a great song. Are you got any plans to do any more covers, or is that? I mean, that's a one-off, isn't it? You haven't done a cover before, have you?
No, that's the first one. It was more like I think there was a guitar player. He heard it on like radio, or maybe he heard it on YouTube or whatever. It's like, this is a great song. We should do a cover of it. And I always loved that song so much. I actually played as a musician with a couple of gigs with her as well.
All right.
She won't remember it, of course, but I was a bass player for I think 3 gigs.
All right. Okay.
So I played it live with her, with the original vocalist, but it's I really like that song, so I was like, let's do it, and I did a demo all by myself. I programmed drums and I play all the guitars and did the vocals. I was like, this sounds really good. So the vocals on the track that's released, that's actually my first attempt demo vocal. That's the vocal I laid down the first day I tried it out.
Oh, brilliant. No, I love it, man. It's just an Eclipse song through and through. It's amazing how it turned out. Absolutely quality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been on a run of albums now, man. I mean, if we're looking back, I reckon for me, your third album. Is it Are You Ready to Rock? Because your first couple sounded like, a band.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, you've been.
It's more like official demos. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. The name is the same. I think that's Of course, Magnus and me are in the band, but I think the name is the only thing that connects them with
right. Yeah.
with the
But
band
I mean,
that is nowadays.
the quality of your album since that Are You Ready to Rock? It's just been getting better and better. I mean, it must be like a 5-album streak now where they've been like 10 out of 10 albums. Absolutely love them. I mean, obviously keeping the fans happy. I mean, you're going to be looking at doing another Eclipse album. What's the pressure like, man, to have an album as good as the last one? I mean,
well, you see, I can't think like that. We just write songs and we record the ones that we like. It's simple as that. It's like I can't make plans of it needs to be better or whatever. It's like we write songs and we try to write the best possible songs, of course, and those end up on a record. But we have almost 10 songs for the new record already done.
Oh man!
So I can tell you, the new album is going to be great.
I have noticed a slight change in your sound, and I mean, you don't want to go to the thing is, as a fan, you know what we're like. We want things to change, but not too much. Do you know what I mean? It's just like little bits of change. That's, as a fan, you're never happy, are you? But I've noticed a slight change in your sound, and it's going back a bit actually. And you did mention it on the Blu-ray when I was watching it. Slight folky sort of Celtic type sound. I mean, I suppose you touched upon it with Battlegrounds, maybe a little bit, and then
sure, yeah.
But then in the new album, I think it's up front a little bit more. It's that sort of folky sort of sound mixed with the heavy rock and metal, obviously. But I think it's a great sound, man. And you sort of been heading towards that, and it shines a little bit more on Paradigm, you know.
I agree, and I think it's important that you change all the time, even if the fans, AC/DC never changed. But what happened after a while is that the albums they kind of get worse. It's hard to say about my favorite band, but for every record after a while, it started getting worse, and it still sounds great, but you've heard it before, and when you do the same thing over and over again, as a fan, you will not be happy anyway. Even if you. Yeah. So I think it's important that you don't paint yourself into a corner, and because then you have no way out. So you always need to make changes, and the changes that you like, you can see them as the blueprint for the next record, and maybe it leads you in another direction. I think that's important because all the songs like from Bleed and Scream, we had a lot of those now. All those uptempo, the kind of Zack Wild, Jake Lee kind of riffing with Whitesnake. That kind of intensity. We already have those songs. There's no point in writing more of those songs because we already have them. We can play them live, and it's better to see what's behind next corner instead. Totally, it's important as a band. Otherwise we will get bored, and maybe you can do a few records in a row that sound the same, but after a while the fans will get bored as well, even if they say they want the same thing. I don't think it's true.
You're totally right. I mean, it must be like a balancing act, isn't it? You can't go too mad, and there's been bands that have experimented so much that fans have just gone off them. You need to put those little changes in, like you said, and that you definitely hear that on Paradigm for me. There's definitely a shift, but not too much. So it's brilliant for an Eclipse fan, but it gives you something fresh as well. So
but the thing is that those changes that were special on the Paradigm album, by the time we release the next record, that will be kind of for the fans. It will be a very familiar sound, which means they will not react the same thing when they hear it next time. Yeah, if you know what I mean. And also with that, writing bad records, and it was a Swedish songwriter who wrote that every band, sometime in their career, they make the Elder music from the Elder, the Kiss. When they think they're doing something great and they completely fuck up, it's just embarrassing. And I think every band do that sometimes. So we haven't done ours yet, but Maybe we started with the first two. We started with two of the elder, and then we else.
The thing is, your first couple of albums, even though you said it sort of wasn't Eclipse as such, you haven't had a bad album in my opinion, but you can hear glimpses of what you were going to become on those first couple of albums still. But it's like finding your feet, if you like, like bands do. But what you don't want to do, you don't want to have a debut album that smashes everything else you have out of the park. You want that to be...
There are some of them, yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of those bands.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's fun. We're not 20 anymore, and we're getting older and older. But the band is still growing, and I think that is it's a beautiful thing when you can get older, and you make better records, and more fans listen to the band, and you find more and more people who listen to your music. That's really.
One thing I have found across all your albums, like since probably Are You Ready to Rock onwards, is that you weirdly sound really hungry still. It sounds so energetic, the albums. Usually a band that's been going for as long as you've been going, they lose that energy and that intensity like over time, but you still seem to have that intensity. The production's probably something to do with that as well. It gives the intensity as well. But you can hear the energetic. It sounds like you're hungry still. I mean, after that many years, it still seems like you're hungry to improve.
Yeah, sure. But it's still, the best Eclipse record or the best Eclipse songs are not written yet. They are in the future. That's my how I think about it. The best Eclipse song is far away. It's not going to be on the next record. Maybe it's be in 10 years. Maybe the best Eclipse song is written. So and we always write every album, and it's like our lives depends on it. That's how important it is to us that we make a great record.
No, it's brilliant, man. I can't wait I'm getting excited about the new album now. So I just can't. I can't wait. So apart from the new album, is that the next thing that you're going to be working on, the new Eclipse album?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you was only it came out last year though, didn't it? Paradigm. So
yeah,
2019.
Just over a year ago. Yeah, I think that we're talking about maybe after the summer next year, because the original plan was to release it during the spring already. Very tight. But there's no way it's going to be a tour in the spring. It's not going to happen with the virus. So hopefully, maybe next autumn, maybe there will be a chance to tour.
I've seen you live once, but I mean, that was quite an experience, wasn't it? There was a fire alarm going off when I came and saw it. After the first, I think it's the second song in, there was a false fire alarm, and then we went outside out London.
It was actually during the song called "The Storm," and it was the chorus. It's like, "This is an emergency." We had to stop in the middle. I'm not kidding, but it's actually an emergency.
Yeah,
that's why I remember it.
Yeah, that was funny. It was a great gig though, man. That was a great gig. That place is closed down now, by the way. I didn't know if you know. Yeah, it's closed. That place. Yeah, a little while ago, before all this all happened. But I mean, hopefully you'll come back again. You come back again and play, and I'll be there. I'll be there when you actually come back in here. Yeah.
Let's see how many venues are still open after this pandemic. It's a lot of places and venues are really struggling. Most people think about the bands, but the bands are just the tip of the iceberg. It's like there's so much people involved. The guy printing our T-shirts, like he went from having, working 14 hours a day from like zero orders. It's like everything is sound engineers.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Oh man, it's hopefully, look, fingers crossed, it'll be over, like, you know, in the new year, and we can get on with our lives.
Yeah.
I don't think anything will ever be the same again, though, mate. I really don't. It's just strange, isn't it? It's really strange. But
I hope people are really hungry to, you know, see live bands and hang out with people again.
Yeah. I mean, if social media's got anything to do with it, everyone is just, you know, missing it so much, missing live music so much. But nah, it's great, man. But hearing about what you're going to be up to and hearing about the new Eclipse album, that's really what I wanted to hear. So that's cool.
Yeah, wonderful.
And look, it's been an honour you chatting to me. I can't believe you actually come on here. You know, I mean, I love Eclipse. They're right up there with my favourite bands. My missus loves Eclipse as well. So, you know, I mean, and she doesn't love every heavy rock band, but she loves Eclipse. So there, you must be doing something.
We do something right. Yeah,
definitely.
It's something we actually noticed during, you know, especially during the later years, that more and more women are coming to the concerts, and it might be because I'm so good looking, but I'm a clue. No, but it's interesting. I think it's the whole melodic thing, something, because we can even see the stats on, you know, on Spotify. I can see actually who is listening, and 20% of our listeners are women, which are for hard rock band. That's pretty high.
That is.
I have no idea. I have no idea why.
It must be because you're good looking. That must be.
Yeah, it must be.
All right, man. Listen, it's been such a pleasure. I mean, I hope I can, like, when you get the new release coming out, I hope I can speak to you again. But
that would be great.
And we can catch up again. That's been great. All right, then, mate.
Then you can tell. Then you can give an honest opinion if we're taking the right changes, make the right changes to the sound.
Always honest.
As a fan, wonderful.
Okay then, mate. Thank you very much.
Super. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, mate.